Okay, hello everyone. My name is Mark Tercek. I'm honored to be the President and Chief Executive Officer of the Nature Conservancy. And we, of course, are a conservation organization trying to protect habitat for the benefit of animal and plant species. I've been asked to make a few comments about the credit crunch and what impact it might have on our mission and renewable energy, etc. It's obviously a complicated question, and it's the early days of this financial crisis, so I'm not going to pretend I have all the answers. But I guess I'd make a couple of observations. First, there is perhaps some good news. As the economy slows down, and people probe and understand why this crisis has happened. I think a lot of people are understanding now that society chose to defer dealing with time bomb ticking problems. I mean, the use of derivatives, the over leverage, bad standards in mortgage lending, etc., all the things that have caused this financial crisis, they've been well understood for a very long time. Yet society, failed to really engage and act on that. It's an interesting question why, but we know that, and regrettably, the passage of time didn't hurt. It helped. It made the problem worse. Now we turn to environmental issues. They're the same kinds of issues, I would argue. Most smart people who pay attention to these matters understand that we have some ticking environmental problems, and the passage of time is making them worse. They're not going away. We can defer paying attention to them, but it's at our peril if we do so. And so I think there is some chance right now that as people understand this economic crisis, they will wake up and say, let's deal with our problems. Let's just engage and deal with reality in an important way. And so there is some, I think, silver lining there, if you will. Another intriguing part of this is it's now necessary for our federal government to, on an almost unprecedented level, second perhaps only to the time of the Great Depression, to take action to stimulate our economy. And so our new President-elect Obama has an opportunity to create an economic stimulus plan with the Congress that will not only revive our economy, but if well designed can also pave the way toward a much greener and better designed energy system. So for example, we could have investments led by the federal government in a smart transmission grid, better transportation, etc. And these could be really powerful for environmental concerns. So that's quite helpful. And then likewise, our new president is telling us that he's ready to enact serious federal level climate change legislation to put a price on the emission of carbon so that the U.S. can not only begin to deal with climate change issues at home, but that will also allow us to engage internationally. And that would be very powerful. If the U.S. is to re-engage in international leadership on climate, I think that'd be all for the good. So there's some good aspects to these economic problems.
What about in terms of investment? Like alternative energies and technology rely a lot on investors being in on these ideas. With the markets down, do you think that will have a potential negative impact, or do you see all positives?
In my old life, I was a Wall Street banker. I think inevitably it's going to be harder to get financing for any kinds of ventures in the near term. So that's an issue. We'll get through this, but for the time being, it's hard to get financed whether you're a mom and pop operator or a big company. So that is an issue. Second, of course, oil prices have fallen dramatically. Oil prices inversely correlate with investor interest in non-fossil based energy sources, so that's a factor as well. On the other hand, though, the world ever better understands the need to transition to a smarter, green-oriented energy infrastructure. And our new president, our president-elect, is loudly championing that theme. And so that ought to provide the momentum we need to get from where we are to where we need to be on those bases.